Right, hello everybody. Hopefully the webcam's working and the microphone's working. Can't actually see on the audio levels as usual if it's picking it up or not. But I thought it might be a good idea for a stream to do sort of a COVID survivals essential list sort of thing. Because, obviously all the governments everywhere seem to be doing an absolute shit job of coming up with stuff, and doing anything really. So, hello to everybody joining. I thought a good idea would be sort of to make a list for everybody of stuff they might need in case of like a second sort of, lockdown or spike. So I was thinking of things like hand sanitizers, masks, food in case of a lockdown and all that. Because, toilet paper definitely have to go on the list, Mr. Livera, because if you leave that too late, everybody will be hoarding it and you won't have any. Yeah, water filters are a good idea, OK9, especially the ones that are really good at actually filtering water properly, like not like a Brita filter, but, like the really micron level water filters where you can filter essentially river water and that to make it safe. Or if you're having lots of beans, you want lots of toilet paper as well. Cheers, Thomas. It's the best helmet I've got. I need to find where I've put the liner for this, because the liner's, like, cut to shape to fit all the bits of the helmet, but... As I was saying, Thomas, you're going to need the toilet roll sooner rather than later because of all the people who are already panic buying it again. Yeah, alcohol if you're fond of drinking it, because obviously bear in mind that it's technically not good for you. Yeah, there's quite a few good water filters. I've got a good water filter, but I just need to work out where I stored it. I've got like a Chinese army one, like a modern one. Yeah, there's lots of good water filters. The really cool ones are the ones where you can have them built under the sink, or you kind of attach them between your tap and like the water intake pipe, and then they filter all the water coming out of your sink. Oh, that's good, Nikolai. Yeah, definitely long-lasting food, 93 Silverado, especially if there's food shortages or you don't know. If shops are closed, you're just simply not allowed out or whatever. Well, you only need enough masks for everybody that needs to wear them in your family. Because obviously it's pointless having lots and lots of masks if there's nobody to wear them. Literally nothing to do with the stream, Alex, Saint Alex. Can you please keep it on topic? My UC's been a bit bad Crohn survival, but not awful, just, not great, not terrible. But, it flares up now and again. Sometimes I get bad weeks or months with it. Other times it's all right. Yeah, you could, I suppose if you wanted to phrase it like, get a load of films and games to play or whatever, watch, stuff like that. That'd be useful. What's the string for then? The zone is better. All right, PC Dragon Productions. I haven't seen you on in a while. But yeah, good helmet. They don't always put it down your throat. Some places just shove it up your nose. Down your throat's less invasive, I'd say, than your nose. As long as you get a Rhino mount for it. If it's a night vision not attached to a Rhino mount, it'll work for the helmet. Which model of helmet is it, Nikolai? Because in Afghanistan, Britain used the Mark 6, Mark 7, and this helmet. Mark 6, you would definitely not be worth £70. Mark 7, £70 is like the high end of what you want to pay for them. And if you found one of these for £70, that would be a brilliant price. Oh, definitely need a cup of teas and coffee, don't you, Justin Vapor? Yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everybody. Because we have some very motivated dislikers for every single stream and video I make. The people who sub just to dislike. You'd think they'd have a new hobby by now, but apparently that's more important to them than whatever else. Maybe you just need a slightly fatter chin insulted. That's the only thing I can think of, because that's the issue I have with M65s. Well, I've not tried an M65 since I've gained a bit of weight, so it might be now an M65 would actually fit fine around my chin. But yeah, the problem is a lot of the times if you have quite a gaunt chin, for example, a lot of masks, if they have a certain chin shape, never fit tight because you kind of need a little bit of fat on your chin like that to actually make the seal. Also, make sure you're clean shaven as well. Is that similar, Lewis, lifeboat ration sticks? Are they similar to like hardtack, or are they something more modern? All right, Anne, thank you. I did post on Instagram just before I came on the stream a shameless promotion for the hoodie. Because, you know, if you like the merch, you can buy it below. Just thought I'd mention that. Right, a Mark 7 for that price isn't bad, Nikolai, but that's like the top high end I'd pay for it. Obviously, the Mark 7, as I've said loads of times, is my favourite Kevlar helmet out of all the ones in my collection. So, this is a Mark 7. Did it come with a cover or not? The Flecton cover obviously isn't original to the Mark 7. But yeah, this is a Mark 7. They're pretty damn good Kevlar helmets, but they are Kevlar, you know. So it's like a very high-end Kevlar helmet. Quite a bulky one. But it would give your head very good protection from pistol rounds and like shrapnel. Yeah, he could have had, depending on what year he was there, Nikolai, and what army he was in, in Britain, he'd have had the Mark 6 or a Mark 6A. Mark 6A if he was lucky out of those two. A Mark 7 or this one, the Virtus. I've got lots of stockpiled food AK-47 that lasts ages, but it's not MREs. It's just food with long dates on that you just dry store. Yeah, but bog roll, I think most people would rather use bog roll if they had it laying about. PC Dragon, it's not like a complete shit hit the fan thing. It's just more I'm thinking if there's another lockdown and like lots of places are closed or people panic buy stuff, what stuff would you want in your house? Well, out of all the helmets I've got, this is the best one for gas masks, just simply because you fully loosen the bit at the back, you know, this bit that grips your head. And this will fit pretty much any gas mask I've tried with it. But most helmets, as long as you've got quite a good adjustable liner in them, are fairly good with gas masks. I didn't see the list, Radiac Maniac. It probably hid your comment. Hard to say, 93 Silverado. I'd say something like even my Scott M95. Well, it's technically a Scott M110 or whatever it's called, but that one, the Scott M98, this one's pretty damn good. The CT12, there's quite a few that are really, really good, but you know. All right, thanks for bringing up, Daniel. I bet a lot of those are going to be shooting up in price again soon because I've seen a lot of masks now again that the prices are going up again. The one I've got on is the Virtus helmet or the Cobra Battle Skin Revision 2 or whatever bollocks names they come up with it. But basically, it's the one that replaced this one in service in the British Army. It's basically an American ECH, just with a couple of differences, like a different liner and a different kind of mounting system for it. I'm sure that's going to fill people confidence, isn't it, Michael? No need to panic buy. Don't panic buy. Tells you they're probably running out of stuff in the warehouse end. eBay wall videos, but they tend to go for a lot. I think this one was £250. Sometimes they're less, sometimes they're more. But bear in mind, it's not Kevlar, it's thermoplastic. So it's the stuff that's replacing helmets like this because it's way stronger. If you watch videos of people testing ECHs, you'll realise quite quickly why they're so expensive. What, as in CFF-free filters? I've got loads of filters. I don't need CFF-free filters. So yeah, well, Sharo, I guess toilet rolls are definitely on the list of things you need to get before everybody gets all of them. All right, Richard. So yeah, the idea was with this video, Richard, was just kind of brainstorming things people might want to buy, you know, before we have another lockdown or people panic buy lots of shit because otherwise it's going to be quite difficult. Yeah, or other things of that nature that suit you, Christopher. Would certainly agree if that takes your fancy, but I won't read out what you said. No, £39 for a Furness at the moment in Salted is a brilliant price considering how awful masks are going to go up in price again. Yeah, people crazy egg were saying like tin food, MREs, long life foods, all that sort of thing. Oh yeah, bin bags or any sort of bags I imagine be useful for putting refuse in. I'm not really thinking of a shit hit the fan type thing in all honesty. What I'm coming up more with is just if there was a lockdown and lots of things were restricted or not available, you know. Yeah, that's a good point, Daniel. I know, like, in a lot of, like, places in France and that, they have, like, actual bidots or whatever they're called, bidets or bidets, whatever they're called, plumbed in, aren't they? Which is probably quite useful. Instant coffee is a good one. Just to reiterate, this isn't a end of the world shit hits the fan list. It's just literally if there were shortages in supermarkets or whatever, or lockdown rules and things like that, stuff that would just make surviving a lot easier for the short run, that kind of thing. Don't get one, Christopher. It's basically not even an Israeli mask. What it is a rip-off of the Israeli masks being upsold by a company. It's a bit like Myra, that King company. They're basically going, oh, we've got a mask and we're going to charge way, way more for it because we've put our name on it. Well, I've actually got one of those nearby. There we go. So that would deal the Corona zombies. Although in my personal choice, a katana would not be the best sword for dealing with koofing zombies. I've got a British clone of the Pascut, but not a proper US Pascut. The British Pascut clone is called the Commando, and it's one just built under license that was used by a lot of armed police forces. Stuff like that, Radiac Maniac, isn't enough to ever show up on a Geiger counter. You'd need to use sort of a scintillator to sort of measure that. I wanted James a while ago to get a Dao sword, or Dao, however it's called, you know, the DAO sword, the Dao. But sadly, everywhere was out of stock. Even the places that supposedly had them in, when I tried to order it, they said, oh, sorry, we checked and we don't actually have any. Well, in a worst-case scenario, Zone is better. I suppose stuff that doesn't require electricity for entertainment, like books and board games, is probably a good idea. But again, this isn't a shit hits the fan thing. It's just literally, if there was an extended lockdown, what would make life a bit easier? Yeah, that's the point, Mike. Because as I was saying to people, this isn't a list of like end of the world shit. It's just if you were having to live locked down or with restrictions, what would make your life a lot more comfortable? Oh yeah, good internet speed, but there's not much you can do at your end other than choosing a good provider, is there? Because if you're in a bad coverage area, you've got bad coverage, full stop. But yeah, the main things I'd have on my list, as said, is basically a mask if you do need to go out and do stuff, obviously. Sort of alcohol spray or sort of alcohol wipes, anything like that, just for decontamination of stuff at a worst case scenario. We know a lot more now. It is more airborne than it is like on packaging and stuff like that. Oh yeah, Dwarf Minor exercise equipment, definitely. It certainly, you know, keep, I think, your mental health a bit better and you're in better physical shape than just sitting at home eating and drinking all day. Water, but we're assuming that the water taps aren't going to stop working, because again, this isn't a shit hits the fan list for all the people that keep saying this. This is just if there was a lockdown, what sort of things would make life a lot easier. And as we were saying as well, toilet paper, because if all the idiots buy up the toilet paper again, then you might be caught short, pun intended. I've got one somewhere, Nikolai. I'm not sure where it is now because I haven't used it in ages. That's actually a good point, Tony. You might want to, do some Christmas shopping now if you can afford it, because what happens if all the shops are locked down or restricted closer to Christmas? I suppose you could give people toilet paper for Christmas at that point, couldn't you? But good point, PC Dragon, because didn't last time ibuprofen go out of stock nearly everywhere, even though it's actually not good to use that if you have corona. Not in this house, AK-47. I would when I get a bunker, but not here. We've only had, I think, maybe 2 power cuts in the last 10 years I can remember here. So there's not much point of having a generator. Remember, keep the stream on topic. All the people talking about stuff not related to the stream, it gets a bit frustrating. But yeah, that's a good point as well, Mike. Spare batteries, just again, in case you have stuff that needs batteries. And yeah, if you don't have rechargeables and you run out of batteries, that would be a bit annoying. Oh yeah, I think any sort of hygiene products, Luke, because you had deodorant, soaps, shampoo, any of that. It'd be a bit grim, wouldn't it, if you ran out of all that? Let's see if there's anything else I can think of that would be useful. Yeah, good point, Daniel. If you're locked down for ages, so I think loads of people, didn't they, in the last lockdown, ended up having stupidly long hair because they couldn't go to a hairdresser or a barber or whatever. Obviously, I don't have that problem because, I just have hair clippers. But, yeah, good point, Camus. If you've got pets, you need to make sure you've got stuff for them, don't you, as well? Not just for you, but, yeah, anything you're looking after, whether that be people or animals or whatever. Yeah, the thing is, though, Alex, saying if you're on about stuff like Amazon Prime or Netflix, you could just get that once a lockdown starts. I'm thinking more like physical goods, things where if you don't get them now, you might be in a bit of trouble. Oh, yeah, washing powder for washing machines and, like, conditioner. That would be a point, or detergent, softener, whatever you want to call it. Because, if places run out of not washing up liquid, I suppose that's important as well, but, washing powder or Tide Pods or whatever you use, that'd be a bit grim if you had stinky, smelly clothes. That's good, Intellibright Films. Did you get them before the price went silly? Yeah. That'd be a bit uncomfortable, though, wouldn't it, AK-47? Yeah, we've got a few in our garden tactical, but they always need replacing after a while, don't they? Because eventually all the moisture and cold gets into them and breaks them. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, Christopher. But yeah, it's shitty for everybody, but not for just that reason, but Oh, that's a good point, Alex. You want a backup plan, don't you, for if you lose your job, depending on what your job is. Yeah, that's not too bad, is it? 3 masks for 200, considering some people are selling S10s on their own for like 200 now. How recent ago was that, Marcus? But yeah, I'm sure you could flip them for a bit. Yeah, sorry to hear that as well, Intellibright. Somebody else I know on here lost their dog this year as well. It's real sort of shit time for it to happen, isn't it? But that's cool, Marcus. So yeah, you could definitely flip some of those for like not silly extortionate, amounts over, but still make quite a bit from it. Yeah, as you said before, Mike, flour and other cooking ingredients are probably quite good for just long term, like rice and stuff like that's good, isn't it? Because you can just essentially put a load of it in like several kilo bags or containers or whatever, and like oats in a cupboard, and then just use it as you need it. That's interesting. I've got one of all the other bits except operator cards, and I got that for £50. But yeah. But that was a while ago. I wouldn't expect to be able to get one for that now. How quickly did they sell out, Alfie, or did they not? Because if they had them in for a sensible price, that would basically be where I might take in a few £100 if it was my local surplus, but sadly they're all gone now. Buy them and then just flip them on eBay. Like, not for a stupid price, you know, increase, but enough that you could make a bit from it. Not as far as I'm aware, Joe, because it's an obsolete mask by like 20-something years. None near me, sadly, anymore. Hylexer, if that's how your name's pronounced, or Heixler. There used to be one like 5 miles from me. Sadly, that's gone. There's another one in a town that's like 20 miles away. I don't know if that's still there or not. I'd have to look next time I'm there, but I don't remember seeing it last time I was in the town. But it's one of those towns, sadly, now, where if you go through like the middle of it, there's so many like boarded up shops, and this is pre-COVID. Imagine it's worse now. I'm pretty sure it's only for you, Radiac Maniac, because you're the only one complaining. I'm trying to think what the name of my local surplus store is. Something like WS Supplies or something like that it was called. It was like a 2-letter thing, Supplies, local surplus one was. But they were one, you know, it used to be in one place and they moved to like a bigger warehouse somewhere, which is really good. But then they had the issues of, you know, like the rent of it compared to how much you could sell surplus for. That was the main thing I like with physical surplus stores, is you can go in and see if the clothes fit you and look at how good the condition is. Right, cheers, Christopher. But you can't do that really online, can you? You just have to hope it looks as good as it does in the picture. Especially, you know, if it's somebody of hundreds of a certain item in, you never know what condition of one you're going to get in. Yeah, that will be the similar one then, Alfie, because wasn't it? I thought it was at Ensham, but yeah, it's that sort of area. They have got an eBay page, but there's not as much on it. And again, you can't physically look at uniforms, can you, on an eBay page, unlike a going into like the store. Yeah, a man cave sparrow, exactly. Before it makes you turn into Jack from The Shining. But hello to everybody joining. In all honesty, in Telebrite films, I don't think anything in a surplus store is going to be radioactive, other than maybe some compasses and things like that. Antique shops are more likely to find radioactive stuff from old radium stuff and uranium stuff. Anything Tivacoin that's 40mm NATO in terms of gas mask filter types, because that way you can at least easily get replacement filters. Yeah, the S10 is good, but don't pay silly money for it. No, Christopher, I can't. Look at my YouTube videos if you want to see all of them. I'm not going to get them all out for a single video because I have too many. £50 is fine for an S10 at the moment, considering lots of people want £200 for them. I have never seen tank rounds for sale in surplus stores. You mean like depleted uranium shells? I don't think that's the sort of thing you're ever going to get for sale on the civilian market. All right, Abdo. Yeah, we've listed it a few times. I'm trying to keep this video for the people who are joining to sensible things, not like end of the world, you know, every single thing you can think of under the sun. I don't know why you'd have contaminated uniforms, because all like the Chernobyl stuff was essentially destroyed or left on site. And I can't think of any other major nuclear disasters where, you know, military stuff would have been deployed. That's a good one. Spare light bulbs, spare fuses as well. You know, anything like that, because you don't want, to have your lights blow or fuses blow and then not be able to replace them. If you've not been watching, Danny, there's a reason I can't do that. I've explained a few times, or at least I can't do them very regularly. You can literally go on my channel, Christopher, and search most popular, and it will show you. Not even search. Tick the box that sorts videos by most popular. What was really good saying about, you know, you getting a load of fuses for $1? Ages ago, we bought loads and loads and loads of light bulbs really cheap, and we still got some of them left. You know, where like a shop was getting rid of loads of their stock. So they had almost like a crate of mixed light bulbs, you know, bayonets and screw fittings, different wattages, all that. And it was like, I think like 10 quid or something, you know, and it was a massive like box of them. We still got loads of them because, you know, even if you were going through like one of these light bulbs a week, you'd probably have like 2 years, 3 years worth of them. And obviously sometimes they last like 6 months or whatever. Yeah, candles for a power cut or whatever. Right, Christopher, this is your last warning. Look at my channel for videos before you keep spamming do this, do that. If you do it again, I'm blocking you because it gets quite annoying when people keep asking do this, do that when they don't even bother to seeing if I've done a video on it. They're just like boiler suits, Supreme Mango Juice with like a flash hood on them. At the moment it is. LED bulbs for £1 is really good actually. Yeah, cool, IntelliBright, that'd be good for anybody wanting to look at them. There you go, little shout out to IntelliBright. He's got some bug out bag videos. I suppose if you got some fire retardant material, you could cut it to shape to make your own flash hood. Weren't they surprisingly good, Daniel, the ones he reviewed on there from Poundland? Yeah, the only LED bulbs I've got are the one in that other than torches and that, is the one in the ceiling bulb over there, and this desk lamp, and that's one from Aldi. That's a good idea, Tactical Pirate, yeah. It's a very good idea, yeah, because if the power goes out, you've got a bit of light. Yeah, rechargeable batteries are fine. We were talking about batteries earlier. You'd probably want a combination of like disposable batteries and rechargeables. Yeah, tea, coffee, and toilet roll seem to be the first things to run out for some reason. Yeah, you probably want a few, actually. Saying that, Dwarven Miner, any cables you use a lot, you probably want a few of, just because eventually they'll kind of tear inside the cable and they won't work properly. If it fits your face, the M65 is fine, if you're on about the German M65. If it doesn't fit your face, then it's useless, because it's one of those masks that seems to fit people or it doesn't. Yeah, train spot. They are for people working on like radio masks, I believe. When it's for radiation, it's for like radio wave type stuff, not ionizing radiation. When you say an M3 respirator, do you mean a 3M respirator? Because 3M and M3 are very different things. M3 is like a couple of military masks have been called the M3. 3M is just, like the half face masks. Yeah, but if there's a lockdown, Welsh Arrow, you can't get very far with that passport because they'll just look at it and say, no, back to your country. ROU use a filtering mask, so yeah, they'd be fine. Not if you get them in advance, Joe. There's plenty on eBay and Amazon. It's just they tend to cost more than they should, but there's not much point, Abdo, because there's already lots of resources online about gas masks and that. I think there are a couple of books about gas masks, but I've never bought them, so I don't know how good they are. I've got a couple of very specialized books on gas masks, but I don't know if that guy ever got round to doing his like encyclopedia of gas mask book that some guy was doing. As I've already said over and over again, yes, most of my masks come from eBay. Let's see, Alexei. I suppose when people are saying about clothing, it's just a general thing. You might want enough clothing just so, you can wear stuff and wash stuff and cycle it, just in case clothes shops are closed or something. I mean, that's a bit more of a stretch, that one, compared to some more essential things. But yeah, that's a good point, Daniel. Yeah, then what you want, JJ, is a C50, not an M50. Yeah, that's a very good one, Andrew, because again, that's stuff that would actually be useful, wouldn't it? I don't know what the yellow boxes are in Soviet bunkers. There's the orange medkit boxes, or do you mean something different? That's very cool, Abdo. Which city's that? £250 this cost me. And this was like basically a brand new one, unissued, probably fell off a lorry without getting any dents in it. Just basically we did like a mudroom type thing in Telebrite film. So you come through the door, like take anything off there, and do it there before going into the next room. But what they've learned as time's gone on is a lot more of it. The danger of COVID is a lot more airborne than it is, like stuff on your clothes. All right, so it's in Saudi Arabia. Is that Riyadh? It's pronounced. I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting. Very easy, Scott, because they literally just snap on and off. They're not like the old sort of US style outserts where you had to bend the rubber back. These just literally push on and off because they kind of clip on. I'd be very careful, Sem, about all this kind of science on how to do stuff yourself, because if you're not careful, you'll probably kill yourself doing advanced medical procedures on yourself. It's not recommended. Yeah, that's a good one, Justin Vapor. Unless you want to look homeless, that's a good one. Yeah, there's online pharmacy places, aren't there, Daniel, that do stuff, but I did notice with some of those, when COVID started, stuff like cough medicine went up from like £5 to £10 a bottle to £20 to £30 a bottle. So, they were price gouging a bit. Yeah, people mentioned that earlier, PC Dragon, but yeah, food for people and food for pets, and like kitty litter or whatever. as appropriate. Keep out at a Digital X Mage. Obviously, bear in mind lots and lots of people are going to be unemployed at the moment, so you're not going to be the only one. Yeah, well, I think, James, of any medicine that you might need, get more than you need now, so you've got a stockpile of it. That's good if it works for you, Tactical. I just go into my local pharmacy because they're quite friendly in there. It's very close, so I can just wear a mask, go in. I'm meant to be getting a flu jab at some point, but they're not rolling them out to the younger people yet. It's mostly like the very infirm people getting the flu jabs at the moment. The thing is, in Telebright films, lots of dentists are just not open full stop, or literally just pull your teeth out or do emergency fillings. That's it. Because my mum had to have some dental stuff done recently, and she said it was shit because, you know, they basically charge you for emergency stuff and then do the bare minimum. You know, a bit like if you've got certain illnesses, you can't get seen at a doctor or a hospital. Hence why so many more people are dying of cancer now, because they just can't get seen. Yeah, it's going to be rolled out to everybody, Andrew, that wants it. It's just they start off with the most vulnerable people, so they get it earliest, which makes sense. But yeah, what they're doing here is like the elderly and the infirm get it first, and then within a month or so, people like my age should be able to get it. They think it's going to be a bad flu season, and a bad flu season combined with corona is going to be awful, because it means if you end up getting both at once, you're pretty much dead by the sound of it. I think they're saying something like 80 to 85% mortality estimated if you got corona and flu at the same time, just because they're both going to be attacking similar bits of your body. Well, for young people, the odds would be a bit better, but it's not going to be good regardless, because flu can kill young people anyway, and it does. You know, the more vulnerable you are, the more likely it is to hit you. Oh, so it's an old person nerve agent thing, Marcus. That's interesting. Considering I've done lots of videos on Gen 2 night vision, vision Bombardier, yes, I have. If you want to see my really nice Gen 2 unit, not that I'll turn it on in here with the lights on, it's this one. That's my really good Gen 2 scope. So what does NOD stand for? Because obviously NVG is night vision goggle. So what's a NOD? I guess the N bit is night. Yeah, I sometimes get offered them Digital X Mage because I'm eligible for them free because of like medical conditions when I'm at the doctor's. But at the moment, you can't go to the doctor's. Night observation device, thank you. I just prefer NVG, night vision goggle, but yeah. I might have to put NOD in all the tags on my night vision videos if that's what a lot of people search them more, but... Yeah, we were on about that earlier, Tyler, you know, like hair clippers, beard trimmers, all that sort of stuff. Especially because last lockdown, all the people complaining like, oh, my hair's too long. It's like, yeah, just cut it yourself. It might not be the most professional job, but it's pretty easy just to get some clippers and do that. I just go over it with clippers the first time so it's roughly even, then I get my shorter shaver, for like doing beard stubble and that, and then go over it with that one so it becomes even more kind of uniform. Depends who you ask, Joe. But yeah, it's good enough for what it is, basically just being, I don't have to pay £10 to £15 to have it done, and don't have to risk getting infected sitting in front of somebody. I do all sorts of surplus stuff to Evercoin. Modern Russian or Chinese Ghost filters Horizon. That's about it. As we were just saying, because it's cheap and practical, and masks fit you properly. Yeah, it takes me a bit longer than 5 minutes, Mike, but yeah, it doesn't take long, does it? What I do is I cut my hair, then I have a shower to, once I've had the shower, to get loose hair off and see if there's like any little tufts you've missed, because it's much easier to see once you've had a shower. Then I just cut those and even it off. Generally put some moisturizer on my scalp so, I don't get any dandruff in the near future. All done. It's a lot more hygienic as well, because you can just literally get a bit of water, splash it over, and you've cleaned your hair, essentially, unlike having to shower and, shampoo it. Yeah, exactly, Rich. It pretty much dries the same speed as water drying off your skin. Yeah, but that will burn your skin a bit, Class 2 instructor. You could do, but yeah, but like sanitary wipes, again, you can just use stuff like that on your head if you want to. Or that one, eBay. That one, eBay. That one was sent it for free, but you can buy them on eBay. Those are just ones printed out, the other ones. Yeah, I started cutting my hair when the person I used to always see to cut my hair retired. And I didn't, want to get after going to see a couple of other people, I didn't like the way they did it. So I ended up just, buying clippers and doing it myself, and I haven't looked back since because, ideally, if I was having my hair cut, I'd like the person who always used to cut my hair to do it, because they didn't ever do it like this short, but they did it short, and stylized a bit. And I really liked the way they did it, but I couldn't get any other barbers or whatever to do it the same way, and because they kept wanting more and more money as time went on for just even really simple haircuts, such as buy clippers, do that, job's done. If you're lucky, Bledgev, you might find one for sale, but I've never seen one for sale. They now and again turn up, apparently, but they're pretty rare to turn up because I guess they're pretty strictly controlled as kind of current military stuff. Massive difference, Bombardier, between Gen 1 and Gen 2. I've got a video coming out, I think it's tomorrow the video comes out. Let me check. Right, yeah, I've got a video coming out tomorrow, September the 30th, and that shows a couple of Gen 1 and a Gen 2 NVG in it, and the Gen 2 is just amazingly better. The upgraded GSR's WT Oasis. Generally, anything that's got COVID in the title has more viewers. TXE Gaming. And I've noticed that the views have been going up again on all the videos. Now we're getting into a second wave because all of again people want to know about masks. Because I think some people thought once the first wave was over, that was it. COVID was gone. Obviously, we all knew that wasn't going to be the case. I only do it if it's relevant, Ricardo, because I don't clickbait with titles. Yeah, call sign it is. I've got a bit of mead. You can look that up, Joe, by your own very easily. I don't personally see a point in it, OK9, but if you're confident using it, it would be a good thing. But I've got one, I never use it, so I mean, well, shortwave, I suppose, for listening to broadcasts would be more useful. But when people always say ham radios and all that stuff. I don't think most people get any use out of them. £400 to £1,000 Bombardier, depending on like how good the condition is and what particular model they are. But you're not going to get Gen 2s cheap. I'd say biscuits overall, something like the whatever name they've given them, like the Man Kung sort of, standard crossbows. Hang on, not this model, but like the more modern models, better models than this one. But this kind of thing. But the more, the more modernized ones that look more like a bit more solid and good. But like the Man Kung or Armex or whatever they call them, like the Jaguars or the Firecats. Get a proper half face mask, BV, for your own protection. That's interesting, Class 2 instructor. Yeah, exactly, Peach. This isn't a gun, so I can wave it around all I want. Unless they just saw that bit, then they might think it was a gun. Not really that I can think of off the top of my head, Rodrigo. Since I've been saving for the bunker, there's a lot less things I just look up, because I might get tempted to buy them if I look them up. So I just avoid looking on eBay and all that. That's good to know, Richard. Thank you. Yeah, I prefer recurves. Don't get me wrong, compounds are really powerful, but a recurve is simple because, the good thing about recurve is it's simple. It's literally just a standard bow. That's annoying, biscuits. But yeah, if you want to get a cheaper crossbow than the Redback that's pretty much the same, you can get the Armex Tomcat 2s or the Troms. They're basically the same thing. You can also put different prods in for like different strength draws depending on what you want as well. Funnily enough, this is a Daisy Red Rider red dot I've got on here. I think the battery in it needs replacing. Oh no, still some life in the battery. Right, let's see if you can see that on the camera. Yeah, there we go, look. I found this works perfectly on it. It's really cheap as well. It's just a Daisy Red Rider red dot scope. Or, red dot sight. But it's super cheap and it's got quite good recoil resistance, which means crossbows don't damage it. You already asked me that, Joe, and I already answered you yes. I've got loads of different prods. On this one, it's just a £40 prod. See? Because it's really easy to cock. Well, see, I won't cock it indoors, so let me just put the safety back. But, this is really easy to cock. You can just do that to cock this one. But, I've got £150 prods, £175 prods. I've got different strength prods for different, mounted on different bows. I would say, personally, my favourite bow for draw strength and everything else is my, the £105 prod. Because £105 is pretty accurate, at least to 30, 40 yards, and it's powerful enough, but it's quite easy to cock. Where obviously, the higher strength prod you go, the harder it gets to cock and the faster it wears down the string. Because obviously, the more friction from the higher draw weights, the faster the parts wear down. Whereas £105, I think, is like the perfect mix between power and accuracy and, parts not wearing down. And you can just cock it like that on your chest quite easily. That'd be interesting in Telebrite films. Keep this on topic of the stream, please. Don't start asking political questions. All right, dear love. I see your biscuits. Yeah, it depends what you want a helmet for. A steel helmet, like a steel military helmet, if you get a good one, it's still pretty good for basic protection. It's going to stop or reduce impacts to the head, some shrapnel to the head, maybe pistol rounds. I'd certainly rather have a steel helmet than no helmet. Just because some good quality steel helmets are bloody good helmets. It's just, they've been superseded by technology of like microfiber kinds of technology, aramids, things like Kevlar and thermoplastics. For shit hit the fan, you would want a helmet, yeah, but for COVID stuff at the moment, there's no need to have a helmet. I just put it on for a laugh. Yeah, that's the thing, Philip. It'd be very similar strength for my 105 pound, wouldn't it? But that's, I think, the sweet spot on the recurve for where it's easy to cock, but has enough power behind it. Because even at 40 pound prod on that one I showed you can go through a Kevlar vest if you've got like what's it called on it, like a bodkin type tip on your bolt. So yeah, 105 pound of a good tip or broadhead on the bolt's going to do some quite serious damage. That's a good price bombardier, but yeah, a stab vest would be pretty good, wouldn't it, if stuff starts to get a bit uglier with people fighting over toilet rolls. Well, I've got a medium and it seems a bit big for me, so you might want a small of a 3M mask. Weirdly, I found a lot of half-face masks fit me better in small, but regular masks are more medium and large. Maybe it's because this part of my face is small, but if I have like my total jaw and forehead size, it makes a mask large. I don't know. I know it differs a bit from brand to brand, but yeah, for me, half-face masks generally fit better in small than medium. Yeah, that's the thing, Richard. I remember we did some videos on that, didn't we? And other channels have as well, where if you chrono different crossbows with different prods, you definitely get diminishing returns where you go up, draw weight with the extra speed increases. Oh, that's interesting, Mike. I might have a look at that because I'm sort of tempted. Depends completely on which ones they are, Tyler. Some are good, some are bad. Yeah, there's lots of horrible stuff with long COVID, like, causing lots of issues in the long term for some people. They get it, seem to recover, but then they have ongoing, like, chronic illness problems. The MP5's good, the French ARF isn't, so make sure you get an MP5. Oh, definitely, Joe. And a steel helmet's good enough for that. Riot helmets are also very good for that sort of thing. I would not recommend it, Spice. I'm not going to do a video on it. I've already sort of done a video on that, and my recommendation is don't do it. I'm sure there are masks which you can mod for airsoft, but I'm not going to encourage it myself because I don't think it's a sensible idea, and it's very likely to result in you getting injured and the mask getting destroyed. Because masks aren't built for airsoft; they're built for surviving chemical, biological and nuclear weapons. Oh yeah, foam straps are just total bullshit. You don't want foam. You want elastic straps at the worst. Like, I hate rubber band straps as well because they never last long. I say elastic straps at the worst, and at the best, like high quality rubber straps, or proper fabric straps, but not like the little foam kind of straps. Yeah. That's good, Jim. You'll love the ECH because I'm saying it's like the same helmet as the Virtus, basically, just a different liner. So yeah, in terms of what protection it will give you, it gives you loads. The best helmets that tend to turn up on UK eBay for anybody interested, often at good prices, although they're getting harder to find now in terms of steel pots, are these Yugoslav M5985 helmets. These are pretty good if you just wanted a good quality steel helmet that's going to give your head good impact protection. They're quite compact as well. Ah, that's very good, Mike. But yeah, there's quite a lot of good sort of Eastern European Cold War steel helmets that turn up on eBay pretty cheap. So if you just wanted a steel helmet, they're the way to go. You know, whether it be Czech, Polish, Yugoslavian, you know, that sort of thing, some Russian surplus. But just in terms of steel helmets, they're very good for the price, you know. Again, some of them are slightly better ballistically than others, but in terms of like somebody throwing a brick at your head or whatever, any of them are going to cover you against that. Or, you know, glass being thrown or anything like that. Not for self-defense. You can legally carry knives for different reasons, but not if you were saying that you throw them for self-defense. Yeah, that's completely designed, though, the Brodies, to stop shrapnel coming down on you vertically. You know, it doesn't cover much of your forehead, but the point is it covers you from stuff coming down on you very effectively. Of course, this is the classic Stauhelm look. If I got a second one of these, I'd definitely paint it grey for the German World War II look of it. Yes, I do have an East German Cold War helmet. I've got it with the liner on at the moment. There goes the whiteboard. We're completely off the topic of Corona now, aren't we? That's all right. I'm finishing the stream in a couple of minutes, but yeah, it's got the liner on it, but notice it doesn't actually do the bell ringing noise when you've got the liner on it. But yeah, that's an East German M56 helmet. There's a random bit of foam that somehow got into that helmet. Don't know where that came from. What screen are you on about? There is no screen behind me unless you mean the clock. That's a clock. I don't know, Philip. I'd have to add them all up. Probably 20 to 30, I think, of helmets. Yeah, if you're conscripted into an army, they should bloody give you a helmet. I mean, obviously, I think most people in this chat are just asking for helmets for their own, like, you know, personal use. What do you mean, the helmet screen? I'm totally confused. If you mean screen as in the cover, it's to make you harder to see, you know, like camo and a face net. So it's harder for somebody to see you and keeps mosquitoes from biting your face. Yeah, the mesh veil, I said it's make it harder for people to see you and make it harder for bugs to bite you in the face. Well, it was what the stream started off as, VL, and then of course it got sidetracked. I might do a video of the whiteboard and write down the best suggestions people came up with on the stream. But, you know, the issue is that with all these streams, lots of people just never want to stay on topic. That's right, Philip. The problem is, Daniel, I think a lot of people didn't understand the point of it. Like, they were coming up with, like, post, you know, Stephen King's The Stand style lists, weren't they? Not just what you might want to keep yourself a bit more comfortable during lockdown. Yeah, essentially toilet paper, water, sanitizer, a mask, you know, food backup, stuff for animals as well as you, basic medicines like painkillers and things like that. But then it turned into, you know, generators, like illegal drugs, whatever the fuck other people are coming up with. It's to make the helmet harder to see, Class 2 instructor. It's to make your silhouette less obvious. That's why it's floppy. Yeah, bidet. Bidet might be quite useful, though, saying about all the stuff that's been going on at the moment. Yeah, tea and coffee is another essential one. Depends how long this bloody thing drags on for, Stephen, I guess. Because remember, at the beginning, they told people masks entirely were totally ineffective and didn't work because they didn't have enough for emergency staff. Well, that's because we're going back into another lockdown soon, I think, in most countries, Couch Critic. So, it's just history repeating itself. Yeah, I'll be off in a few minutes. Actually, about 1 minute. I'll be off about now. Are you streaming tonight, Mike? If you are, I will be on. If not, I will watch a film. Yep. You might want something to stop limescale building up in your things as well. But yes, a spare kettle or just something you can put on the stove to boil water in. Can't go out your tea and coffee, can you? I don't see the point of potassium iodine sort of tablet type things for regular corona things. This isn't an RBMK exploding. That's all right, Mike. Yeah, if you're definitely not on the rest of this week, I'll just make sure I just do stuff in the evening. It's just I don't want to wait about, to then find out at 10 or 10:30 that you're not going to be on sort of things. So that's fine. Yeah, I'll just watch some films or whatever or play some games. I've started playing Mafia 3 now because I completed the Mafia remake, and loads of people said Mafia 3 was shit, but I'm quite enjoying it. I think, controversially, Mafia 2 was my favourite Mafia game. But Mafia 3 is alright. It's a bit different than the others because it's a bit more arcadey, and a bit more open world than the others. But it's good as its own game, and it's not full price anymore, so it's pretty good. But I think a load of people getting funny because they're like, "Oh, you play as a black person. I don't like black people." It's that kind of shit why they gave it bad reviews. I'll have to look on Shudder and Amazon Prime, Philip, and find something to watch. I should be on tomorrow, I imagine, Alfie, but I can't guarantee you a time. You'd like the Mafias, Mike. They're like a more serious Grand Theft Auto. The first Mafia's 1930s. Mafia 2's like 1940s and 1950s. Yeah, The Boys is very good. And Mafia 3, I think it's like 1970s. Like the first one's like the Prohibition era. The second one's like end of World War II and sort of, like a load of the mob stuff in the 50s and 60s, sort of, if you think, Godfather era. And Mafia 3 is kind of like all the sort of civil rights stuff and, like black gangs fighting like the Italian mafia and that. Yeah, if you like Goodfellas and Casino and all those, you'd really like them. But yeah, they were quite serious, like 18s when the first Mafia originally came out, because a lot of it was to do with like heroin dealing and like prostitution and all that, Yeah. That's good, Lewis. It means they're not thinking it's a crazy prepper channel, I'd hope. But yeah, that's good news, I guess. I don't know if that will actually impact me financially, but I suppose it can't be bad news if it's adverts that people actually would probably click on, as opposed to whatever the fuck we advertised before. I don't know, but spare glasses is a very good suggestion, Justin Vapor, or spare contact lenses, whatever. But that is a very good one. Well done. The entire stream. Let's go. Anyway, I'll be off. I will probably end up doing a video where I use that whiteboard I've got over there to write down all the best suggestions people came up with in this video, just as like a checklist for people. Right. See you all. I'll probably be on tomorrow, but I can't guarantee you a time. It's most likely the evening. It might be if I've got spare time in the afternoon and I've got stuff on in the evening, I might do an afternoon one. That's just how it works out sometimes. Right, see you.